This is number 92, data sufficiency. Okay, clue 1 says, well, what we're trying to figure out is A over B less than C over D. And they give me that 0 is less than C minus A over D minus B. Now let's switch that around. That's the same thing as saying that if 0 is less than that, that means C minus A over D minus B is greater than 0. That means it's positive. Okay? So for that to be positive, the top and bottom have got to be positive, or the top and bottom have got to be negative. And I'm gonna take the case where they're both positive. So with that said, let's see if I can just plug in numbers and find some contradictions. So let's try, let C be 2 minus 1 over 2 minus 1. So I'm letting C and D be 2 and A and B be 1. So that's going to give me a 1 over 1. And sure enough, that's greater than 0. 1 is greater than 0. So I've made that, I'm using clue 1 and I've made it true. Now what is A over B? A over B, this is your A over B. So 1 over 1, is that less than 2 over 2? Well, that's 1 is less than 1. So no, that's not true. So no. Let's see if we can find a case where it is true. Let's let C be 10 and leave everything else the same. 10 minus 1 over 2 minus 1. So 10 minus 1 is 9. 9 over 1 is 9. So sure enough, that's greater than 0. So I'm using clue 1. Okay, so now let's do A over B. This is A over B. So 1 over 1, is that less than 10 over 2? 1 is less than 5, so yes. So clue 1 doesn't work. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. Let's look at clue 2. Clue 2 says what? It's supposed to be a D, sorry. AD over BC squared is less than AD. What's wrong with me today? Is less than AD over BC. All right, I am going to try to make this clue 2 look like what I'm trying to find, okay? So let's divide both sides. Well, let me write this out. Let me get another slide going. Sorry about that. So let's write this out as, let me slide. Let's write this out as AD over BC times AD over BC. I want to make sure you understand what I'm doing. That's squared, right? Is less than AD over BC. Let's divide both sides by AD over BC. We can do that because we know everything's positive. Because you know if you divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, or if you multiply both sides by a negative number, you would flip your inequality symbol. So if I divide both sides by AD over BC, that's going to leave me AD over BC is less than 1. Now I'm trying to make this thing look like A over B is less than C over D. So let's divide both sides by D. Is that what I want to do? AD over BC is less than 1. Yeah, let's divide both sides by D. So this D will be gone. So that will be A over BC is less than 1 over D. It's looking better, isn't it? Now what do I need to do? I need to multiply both sides by C. So that C's cancel, and I'm left with A over B is less than C over D. And that's exactly what I'm trying to find. So my answer is B.